Hi folks, this week I wanted to give you, I wanted to go through a couple of handouts. The first is a bit of a citation intervention. I wanted to make sure that I could be as crystal clear as possible about how to cite appropriately in the papers, because from the expositions, people are getting it generally right, but I kept seeing the same mistakes. I want to try and correct that today. And I'll make these handouts available on Canvas as well, so that you have that available to you too. And I also want to go through another sample argument paper, so that, because with the online format, I think it's better that I model what we're kind of expecting. So I've got a kind of a sample paper to go through very briefly too. This won't be more than 10 or 15 minutes. Nonetheless, I'll make this available in the instructions for this week, so you'll be able to find it, but it's not up yet. So until it goes up, what I've done is I've taken what is actually a very good paragraph from a random paper, and I wanted to show you the kind of mistake that I want you to avoid. I've got two examples. Okay, so let's go through the first example. Again, this is a good paragraph. It's doing the right things. It's just the citation that I want you to be aware of. Okay, so. Let me read through it, and then we'll work on the citation. Hawaii is known for its magnificent green mountains and beautiful beaches. When you step foot on the beach, you see the shining yellow sand and the clear turquoise water. Well, that is what you expect to see. Recently in Hawaii, some beaches were found to have trash scattered all over the shoreline, and the majority of the waste found were plastic debris. A traveler from Florida mentioned that when visiting a beach in Kahuku, Oahu, she was shocked to see how much plastic was found washed up along the shoreline. And this is the quote: "Most common items we saw were bottle caps, pieces of fish nets, and toothbrushes. There were a lot of unrecognizable plastics. We didn't see anything that was made of plastic. Anything that wasn't made of plastic, sorry." And here's our citation. "As a resident of Oahu, Hawaii, I grew up visiting the beach almost every week, and now I can definitely see the significant transformation in many of our beaches' appearances as a result of our careless ways of disposing plastic." Let me just correct this, because I missed that. That should be beaches with an apostrophe. Nonetheless, what I want to focus on is this right here. Okay, now, this doesn't look terrible. This is a good paragraph. They've made their point. They found a good source that supports it. But just so you understand, okay, this is one of the most common errors. I know this is going to sound a little pedantic, but I want you to fix this. This is incorrect right here. This period doesn't belong here, because this is not the end of your sentence, okay? Even if there's a period in the quotation, it doesn't come in your sentence there. It comes after this right here, okay? And I'm going to show you the correct version in a second. It's down below. All right, however, they do have the citation right. Now, this is an online source, so there's no page number, so all you need, if there is one, is the author's last name. So we have the author's last name. Now, if you're me, if you're going through your paper, if you're trying to grade, what I do is I see the author's last name. Great, that's correct. And then I jump to your works citing page. All right, now imagine, if you're me, that this citation right here is one of between 10 and 20. I've got to find the word tester. Where I'm looking is the first word of the citation right here. And all I can see is plastic. I don't see tester. In fact, the author's name is right here. This, however, is not the author. This is the publication. And I know that because they've repeated it right here. Okay. So this needs to be corrected. So there's a couple of things wrong with this. Now, first of all, we need to take this out. Okay. We need to put tester first so I can see it clearly. And that's the last name, obviously. So that's our first correction, okay? So we put the author's name, last name first, so that I can see it clearly. This is the article title, that's correct. This is our publication, okay? The publication needs to be italicized. And I know I keep writing this on your papers, but it's important to differentiate between an article and what is published in the publication, okay? So this is the publication, okay? So this person has the date that it was published, which is good. But what we also need, I can't emphasize this enough because I put it on most of your papers, is the date access. So at the end of the whole citation, I want to see access and use the same form that we have here, and I'm just going to make up a date, 25th of March. Okay, all right. So that's how that should look. With one more thing, see this right here? This needs to be a hanging indent. And again, I know this sounds a little pedantic. But the reason for that is I need to be able to see that name clearly right there. Okay, does that make sense? So let's correct this too, so that you can see exactly how it's supposed to look. All right, so now we've got a perfect citation, and it's not that difficult. Okay, author's last name in the citation. I'm going to jump to your works cited page, look for the author's last name. There it is. It's the article title, publication title, date published. You actually technically need one more thing here. You need the word where to make sure that I know that it's online source. Then we've got the URL, which is optional, but if you want to do it, just make sure that you have it in all the citations, and then the date accessed, and that's it. So having checked that, I then jump back into your paper, and again, this is good style because the author doesn't finish on a quote; they finish on their own words. So I think this is a really good model, and once you get the handout, you'll see that I've actually put the correct one on page 2 right there. Okay, so you can see I've corrected this, I've corrected the hanging indent, the author's name right here, and then in fact it should have web as well. Okay, and that's how it looks. Right? So that's one. Make sure this period isn't in quotation, it comes after the citation, and make sure that if there is an author's name, then it sticks out. However, there quite often isn't an author's name. So this is our second example, okay? So we have, let me see. So right here, this is another classic example, and I was correcting this a lot, okay? And I want to make sure that you're crystal clear about the difference between the publication and the article title. So this is another good paragraph. So I don't like picking out poor work and embarrassing people. This is a good paragraph with a classic citation problem. So synthetic material is also crucial when dealing with diseased arteries, which may be impossible to treat through vessel support. Fully functioning arteries could be achieved by planting a plastic prosthesis in replacement of the ailing section. We also use plastic pill capsules when taking medication. Plastic pill capsules release the exact measured dose of its active ingredients. Tartaric acid-based polymer gradually breaks down, slowly releasing the medication over a long period of time. These tailor-made pharmaceuticals help to avoid having to frequently take large quantities of pills. And this is good because they've clearly got the information from one of their sources and they're giving credit, okay? So that's why we have the citation right there. And then they finish their paragraph with their own words as well. So this is a paraphrase, most of this paragraph, from this source. Okay, that's good. But can you see the problem? Again, if I'm grading this paper, I look at the citation, Plastics Europe, and I jump down to your works cited page, and I'm looking for Plastics Europe in this first section right here, and I can't see it. It's actually buried in the citation, and this is exactly how it appeared in the paper, okay? This isn't terrible, but I'm trying to explain why it's important. So there's a few things we need to fix here. The period, by the way, is in the right place this time, so we're going to fix it this way. You go. If there's no author, you use the first few words of the article title, and it's for the same reason. It's so that I can actually see it in the works cited page. So instead of Plastics Europe, it's Plastic in Healthcare. You could put the whole thing, Plastic in Healthcare application, but can you see how much of the paragraph that's then going to take up? As long as I can identify it, then you're fine, okay? So now, I can read that. I'll jump to your works cited page, Plastic in Healthcare. Okay, that looks good. Now we need to fix the citation. So right here, the author, again, is trying to do the right thing, so just got it technically wrong. So first things first, we need to italicize the publication title. It needs a space because it needs to be correctly edited. Right here, again, they've tried to do the right thing. ND means no date, and I get online and you look at a lot of material, there's no date published, and that's fine. But you need to tell me that. So ND means no date, that's correct. But they just needed to space that right there. And by the way, if I go back, well, it's gone now, but there was a red squiggly line. I mean, look at your red squiggly lines and edit appropriately, right? So web, and then they've got the date there, but we still don't have a date access. So access, and we're going to use the same format. We'll just say 25th October 2019, for example. That's looking much better, except for the hanging indent. And now I'm hoping you'll see how these things are supposed to look, right? So it's exactly the same thing. The only thing that's different is that we don't have an author, and that's it, right? Again, I've put the correct version down here for you so that you can see it, and I've missed out the word by here. So, oh no, so I'm sorry, we have it right there. Okay. So that's how it's supposed to look, okay? They are the most common errors. If you have the author's last name in the citation, make sure that's what's sticking out, and it sticks out through the hanging indent. Put your article titles in quotation marks, this is correct, or page titles if it's online. Your publication titles are italicized all the way throughout the paper, okay? If you want the URL, that's fine, but also you need to remember the date access, okay? That's really important. So that's my little clinic, and we're going to make this handout available. When you open it, you'll see that I've actually annotated it too, so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm hoping that that's clear, but please email me with any questions as well. Okay, and then very briefly, in the last 2 or 3 minutes, what I've done is I've given you another sample paper. Now, this is an excellent paper, okay? It's something to aspire towards in terms of style and citation. You know, it's not to freak you out or anything if you feel like this is not achievable for you, but it's just to model it for you, okay? Now, I've highlighted a couple of things for you. The first thing is that this student has got an excellent detailed thesis statement. So they say what this paper is going to argue. It's going to argue that college education is a necessary resource for individuals in America. It then tells you the reasons, and it tells you the counterclaims that it's going to deal with. That thesis statement right there, this thesis statement, if I'm reading the paper, I know what's coming, and I know what order it's coming in as well. It doesn't need to be any longer than that. It can be 2 or 3 sentences, but that will really help you pin down exactly how you're going to structure the paper. And I would highly recommend that the last thing you edit before you submit the paper is the thesis statement, to make sure that the thesis statement matches what follows in the paper. Okay, you have the luxury of doing that with online sources. Okay, a couple of other things I wanted to highlight. This paragraph right here, normally this is a bit of a red flag for me when it's this short, but this paragraph is very efficient because it makes this point. And it uses short quotation from not 1 but 2 sources, all of which have been tested. And so it's quite efficient, but I wanted to show you how much you can do in a short paragraph as long as it's supported. So in every body paragraph, I want to see at least a citation like this, or a signal phrase like this, okay? So according to the Associate Editor of College Raptor, Alison Wiggle, so that's actually introducing a source and establishing authority at the same time. And then very briefly, because I'm about to run out of time, this author deals with a lot of counterclaims. There seem to be a lot, but in fact, they refute all of them. And that's really, you can have a lot of counterclaims, but if you can refute them all using logic and research, then you're in a really good spot. So again, I'll leave you to read how this person does this. And last thing is, despite these excellent citations and sources, this person still hasn't put the date accessed on the citation. So please try and fix that as well. If you can't remember the exact day, just ballpark it. All right. I realize that might be tricky in retrospect, but that's okay. So that was my brief citation intervention, and I'm going to leave this model up for you to browse as well. You don't have to read it, but you can browse it and use it as a model. So please email me with any questions. I will be available and checking